Welcome to King County at your service. I'm Brooke McConnaughey. King County's Regional Veterans Court is celebrating 10 years of success. The court focuses on the underlying issues that bring vets into the system, providing accountability, but also providing resources like treatment, housing, and counseling.
It is 2 years, 2 months, and 15 days of sobriety.
So the goal behind Veterans Court is to really get to the underlying reasons why someone has entered into the criminal justice system, to try to address those issues.
There are 2 requirements to get into Veterans Court. One requirement is that you be a veteran, but the other requirement is that you be facing either a problem with substances or a mental health issue.
A lot of our veterans and our service members have PTSD, which is trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. The goal is to identify what that person's needs are, how to best support that person, how to guide them, how to walk with them through this system. It's great to see you, still looking healthy and well. Are you feeling that way?
Yes, I am. Most of the criminal justice system is called an adversary system for good reason. People are adversaries. And in this one, it's a team approach. You've got the prosecutor and defense on the same page.
I want to congratulate him on his continued compliance and thank him for his service to the United States. I represent people who have given significant parts of their life to the United States of America.
You give them the tough love, the hard love, and probably not unlike the tough love that they knew when they were in the service themselves. You can really see the stiffening of the back a little bit. Okay, I know now what I have to do.
Appreciation for the support from this court, the VA, especially the ATC and the VASH program.
So we have Veterans Justice Outreach Coordinators who are kind of liaisons. We are making sure they're connected to treatment at the VA, which would include if they need any medications prescribed, treatment for mental health or substance use disorders. Housing, we can try to help connect them with housing.
I want to commend you for your patience and congratulate you for the permanent housing opportunity that appears to be in the works.
This is address the underlying conditions that led to the substance abuse in the first place, and they stop using. Things clear up for them. They physically present better. They organize their thoughts. They organize their life.
Our graduation rate over the past 10 years is about 72%. Folks who go through the therapeutic court system are least likely to commit new crimes, so recidivism is lower. They are least likely to engage in ER or hospital stays and more likely to engage in treatment and be housed.
There are people that have been on the streets for years, have housing.
Success is not only the norm here, it's well above the norm.
We can't fully realize what they've gone through. And I think that we owe it to our vets as a country to recognize and help them when they come back from their service.
How do we restore salmon runs? One of our most effective ways is to remove the barriers to habitat. Check out these folks who specialize in removing those barriers.
We all know that salmon populations in Puget Sound have been declining for some time. Since 2018, we've been identifying fish passage barriers where there's a pipe that carries a stream under the road called a culvert. Simply, fish cannot get through to the other side of the road.
This culvert here blocks like 3 miles of habitat upstream. It doesn't take much, you can imagine, to block a small fish.
Habitat that's upstream of that barrier is inaccessible to salmon. And the idea is that if we can just fix that barrier, we've got a lot of habitat in our streams that salmon can utilize. We just need to let the fish get there and they will do the rest. The new culvert is much wider.
Inside the culvert there are boulders and meander bars and special gravels that are designed so that the fish can use them and swim upstream.
The work of our scientists and engineers has shown us we can open up hundreds of miles of salmon habitat that has been lost for generations.
It also makes our infrastructure more resilient. We have less worries about roads being washed out with floods, and it also allows passage for other things, like deer and wildlife.
So the team had 3,000 sites that they went out to look at. They found about 900 barriers throughout the county. And of those, we're looking at about 47 of those barriers will help open up 50% of the habitat.
This survey work we've been doing over the last several years puts us in a strong position with shovel-ready projects for federal funds that are now becoming available.
Can street art point the way to a more just future? Let's take a tour of the International District with artist Erin Shigaki.
My studio is right where the dentist sign is, on top of the Higo variety store, Kobo at Higo. I love being American, but we've done some dirty deeds, and I really feel it's important to talk about all of it in order to change, to grow. So let's go out into the Chinatown International District and see some of the public art that's around. He really captured a lot of the neighborhood's history in this piece. It's really cool. That fence is really cool too, if you haven't ever looked at it. It charts the population of the JA community. Yeah. You know, having this work on the street, you can sort of interact with it on your own terms and take your time with it. When Executive Order 9066 was brought down, Seattle area people of Japanese ancestry, for the most part, were sent to Minidoka. My father was born there, and my mom's parents were matched there and married there. I always attempt to hold this balance between showing the serious sort of tragedy of the incarceration story with the beauty and resilience of the community. And also in aligning that story with other things that have happened to communities of color, you know, and thinking about liberation for everyone, thinking about making changes to the narrative of American history.
When Professor Sean Wong was a young writer, he wanted to know, where are all the Asian American authors? 50 years later, Professor Wong has helped make Asian American literature an essential part of English literature.
I was a student at Berkeley. I think I was 19 years old, and I decided that I really wanted to be a novelist. No professor, no high school teacher had ever mentioned the name of an Asian American writer, let alone assign a book for us to read or even a short story. And so there I was, the only Asian American writer I knew, and I wasn't very good and I was unpublished, so there you go. I knew that at least Chinese Americans have been in the country at that time for 150 years, and I thought somebody wrote a poem, you know, somebody wrote a story. We built the railroad, somebody wrote something, and I started looking. The books were not hard to find. 4 of my friends and I, we edited the first trade anthology of Asian American literature and published it in 1974. Some of the things that I tell my students or my young writers, I say it's not so much sort of learning about technique, it's more about making sure that you're writing about belief. You know, what do you believe in? You want to be able to say to yourself, you know, that's exactly what I meant to say in my heart and in my mind. Almost all the writers who are publishing today and getting noticed all talk about other writers that came before them. Their own literary history is really important to them. And the UW Press has the, you know, really the largest catalog of Asian American literature of any publisher in the U.S. And when I was chair of the English department. We had an extremely conservative English professor in our ranks. I was always kind of butting heads with him. And one day he mentioned to me in a faculty meeting, he said, "I never thought I'd see the day when multicultural literature would be part of the American literature canon." And I said to him, "Finally, we agree on something. I never thought I'd see the day either." But here we are.
Staying in school and earning a high school diploma opens a world of positive possibilities. Community organizations like Unleash the Brilliance are partnering with King County to keep kids in school.
Being tardy or truant has become a systemic problem, not just in King County, but across every county in the state. Unleash the Brilliance is a youth mentorship program that has partnered with the King County Prosecuting Attorney to host teen-run workshops to help students avoid being absent from school.
Investing 6 more years into your education after high school, it's something that you really have to put your mind towards.
Once a kid crosses the threshold of the courthouse in juvenile court, they're less likely to graduate high school.
We show them a concept called Think, Plan, Fly. It helps them really understand that attendance matters.
I used to have a lot of tardies, missing assignments.
I struggled a lot with setting my priorities straight.
Think, Plan, Fly helped me to have my mindset towards school.
It just reminds you that school is genuinely so important for your future.
You're stable, you're satisfied, you're confident, you're reliable, and you know that you can open any door you need to be.
At the end of the day, we find that students from a variety of different cultures and backgrounds start to create a community.
Think, Plan, Fly has done amazing things for me. It's improved my attendance immensely.
Some consistent voicing around the idea of the importance of academics, the importance of attendance.
Think, Plan, Fly has helped me make better decisions for my future.
Every kid needs a person. Once they're connected to school, once they're engaged in school, their likelihood of being successful just absolutely goes through the roof.
Unleash the Brilliance illustrates how powerful it can be when government partners with community to help kids re-engage with school.
No matter who you are, no matter what background you come from, everyone deserves to fly.
Every year, the King County Council honors community leaders answering Dr. Martin Luther King's call, "What are you doing for others?" Meet a group of Tahoma High School students focused on mental health and creating a space where everyone feels safe.
Just there. We got college tours with you. Yeah.
So we are SAMA, and it's Student Advocates for Mental Health and Addiction.
Our club's main focus is to educate students, staff, and parents about mental health and substance abuse issues at Tahoma High School, and also just to raise awareness in the community.
I think it's really important that mental health is being talked about more, especially in Maple Valley, where we've had a lot more suicide rates, and I think it's really important that students realize there are people there to help them and to support them.
There is still that stigma of don't talk about your feelings, or if you are feeling depressed, don't say that you're depressed. We're here to really understand emotions and say that it's okay if you're feeling those big emotions, and let us help you.
What we're doing is really trying to increase student voice around topics of mental health and addiction, and really hear from the students what they need.
We plan and host events for around the school.
So this year we've had some really great opportunities to do suicide awareness, substance use awareness, and now teaming with the Saga Club to promote mental health in the LGBTQ community.
Mental health is still very heavily stigmatized, and I think this club is really important in fighting that and breaking the idea that mental health is scary when really it's just normal people who are struggling.
I feel in general that everyone can benefit from this type of learning and support.
I really love it. I found I have amazing friends in the club. It's brought me such a sense of community.
So many students had wanted something to happen here, and so I'm glad that we're starting to lead the change, and I think a lot of students were really accepting of our club.
I see a lot of groups and activities, many of which are doing good things. This is one of the most special ones I've had a chance to see because they're hitting an issue that is really needing attention and isn't getting attention. When students say, hey, it's okay to talk about these things, that's a breakthrough. And that's what I'm so excited about and why they're being honored with the Martin Luther King Jr. Distinguished Service Medal.
You can check out all of the MLK Distinguished Service honorees on the King County Council's website, kingcounty.gov/council. If you're a dog owner, you may have no doubt have spent some time trying to train your pup. Well, we spent some time with one of the King County canine dog handlers. They say the trick is to learn to interpret dog language.
I'm a deputy with King County Sheriff's Office, and I'm currently assigned to Shoreline, and I'm their canine handler. So as a canine handler, my first responsibility is I'm still a patrol responding function, and then my secondary is as a canine handler. Comes to work with me, he's my shadow. He sits in a car while I'm handling calls, but when I'm at the precinct, he gets to be out and interact with the people, and then when we do get that need for a tracking dog, that's when Coda makes his money. So as a canine unit, we respond all across the county, different agencies, even with our own agency, to help locate and find suspects. And so that's Coda's main function. We found that there's other uses for the canines and de-escalation and evidence finding, but his main job is to locate and apprehend suspects in violent crimes. So I've had Coda for about 1.5 years. He usually sounds like a boiling tea kettle all times when he wants something. He just little high-pitched squeals all the time just to let you know that he's excited or anxious or not happy with how things are going. As a working dog for the public and things, you just don't want to come up and greet the dog or reach out and touch the dog, but the dogs are a use of force tool. They're friendly and they're great, but they do need to be respected. Sometimes you see the public, because everyone sees a police dog, they get excited. They come up to the police car and like to look in the windows and maybe touch on them. Generally, we just want to try to control that environment just so we can make sure it's a safe and good interaction for everybody. The dogs have emotions and psychology too, and that's just stay away and don't interact with the dog without permission. It's just best for everybody. Coda's great. He's exactly what we want in a police dog. He's highly motivated and wants to be at work and do the work, and then on the flip side, when we go home, he interacts great with the family and the neighborhood.
Good boy. Oh, is that good boy?
He has this switch of work switch and at home switch, and he's great at that. It gets weird to not have him around because he's with me at all times, basically, and so when he's not there, it's pretty weird.
Thanks for joining us for King County at your service. Visit us online at kingcounty.gov/KCTV. I'm Brooke McConnaughey. See you next time.